everybody, and welcome to another episode of Healthy AF. Today's episode is something that keeps popping up for me all week long. It's when you think you are doing really good in a certain area of your life, and then you get some unsolicited advice. Has anybody else been there? Probably so. Worse yet, you get that unsolicited advice from a person in your inner circle. Worse yet, you have forgotten how to trust yourself and you have no idea how to manage unsolicited opinions from people you love without just getting swept off your feet and losing yourself. So that's what we're talking about today. Okay, so I want you to picture it. I think I'm doing really great. And then someone comes up to me from my inner circle and says, like, oh, I've got some major concerns about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And I just plumb think this is wrong. What happens next? If I'm not deeply connected in the past, let me just say that in the past, I'd completely lose my self-confidence. I'd start spinning in this self-doubt. I'd start trying to do what they were telling me that they thought that I should do. I'd question my worth. Like, my capability? Can I really do this? I'm not sure, if I can run this business well, or I'm not sure if I'm acting appropriately, because I kept hearing from them something that I wasn't aware of. And I used to beat myself up quite a bit, by the way, especially when this comes from a really loved person, a spouse, a parent, a sibling, a best friend, someone who's older than you, someone who has more of something that you want, more money, or seemingly more fitness, or more, this, that, or the other. And this has come up in my client base a couple of different times this week. So I wanted to address it here. What do you do when you get some unsolicited advice and you start with I thought I was doing good, self-doubt, shame circle, going down looking for stuff? Now that I am older, hopefully wiser, definitely more in tune, I know that the first thing I need to do is pause. I've gotten a package, okay? That unsolicited advice. I have gotten a package. Now's the time for me to decide. Do I leave it on the front mat, or do I pick it up and bring it in the house? And here's how I decide that. I check, is this person starting from the same place and going to the same place on the same path that I'm on? And if the answer is no, then I leave that drama package right up on the front stoop. I do not pick it up. Now, let me give you a clear example. I had a really good friend, so smart, so much love. She was like a sister to me. And we were very different people. And that's fabulous, because God knows we need diversity. We need to have people in our lives who think differently from us. And she handled her emotions and her life and how she wanted to live very differently than I did. There was a time in my life that I didn't know, when she gave me her opinion, that her opinion was for something that would fit her values, something that would fit her comfort level, her comfort with a certain level of risk, her comfort with a certain level of vulnerability, and her comfort with where she wanted to get to in her life. So I took her unsolicited advice and I tried to make my actions, my decisions, my thoughts fit into what was basically coming through her lens of how she wanted to live for herself. And it didn't work. It felt bad. It was very unnatural. It was like wearing pants that were too big or too small. Very uncomfortable, lots of frictions, and my confidence was in the toilet. I ended up really questioning like how I lived, what my worth was. I mean, I've got soft skills for days. If y'all haven't noticed, this girl is full of soft skills. But if you put me in a system that doesn't value soft skills, all of a sudden, yeah, I'm wondering if I have anything to bring to the table. It's a horrible spot to be in when you're wondering how you can contribute. So I used to take this unsolicited advice and try to make myself into what fits someone else's shoulds. It felt bad, and I felt bad about myself. And then I felt bad about her. And then one day, thank Jesus for Brené Brown. Let's say it louder for the people in the back. Thank Jesus for Brené Brown. One day I was reading a book called Rising Strong. You can buy it. It's fabulous. I'll even put a link in the show notes because I love it so much. It was my first Brené Brown book. I was reading that book, and she talked about what to do with feedback that comes from people who aren't on your path, who don't live where you want to live. They don't come from a place you want to come from, and what to do with that feedback. And I realized, aha, I've been letting someone else's shoulds for what fits them be my guide on what I should be doing. That doesn't even make any sense. I can still love that person and not take their advice. I can love that person and how they live not be right for the way I want to live. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with her. It doesn't mean she doesn't love me. It doesn't mean I don't love her. It means that what she feels she needs to do and the way she feels I need to do doesn't have to be what's right for me. So this takes me to a second spot. How do you know what is right for you? Well, you got to know you. You got to spend time with you. So this person brings you this unsolicited advice, the package that they leave on your doorstep. You push your pause button and you look at that specific place. Now, I can tell you there's going to be some friends in your life who professionally, y'all are very similar. And you can look to them and be like, oh, they're definitely on my path. That is someone I really value that feedback. But in their personal life, maybe it's not that way. That's okay. There are going to be people who you may not be completely 100% the same on your shoulds and the way you live and the feedback that you give and receive. But there are pieces of those lives, compartments, if you will, that you value and can look to for guidance, or even just look to expand your perspective. So you never want to just cast people out. If you're just walking around with people who are the same exact as you, probably not going to grow very much. So when you push your pause and you check, like in this area, is this person on my path? And what do I want to do with this? If they're not on your path, you can leave that drama bomb on the doorstep. But if they are, realize that you can pick up that advice, that little package of advice. You can hold it in your hand. You can look at it You can even try it on. See how it looks. See how it feels. You don't have to get married to it, man. And then you can decide. Then you can choose, like, yes, this feels good for me, or this doesn't feel good for me, or it feels okay, but I think I want to tweak it a little bit. Then you can decide, and it's all right. And again, not doing every bit of unsolicited or solicited, frankly, advice that your inner circle gives you does not mean you do not love them, you do not respect them, you do not value their feedback. It does not mean that. Just get that right now. Because so many people will say, like, well, you asked me what to do and then you didn't do it. So why are you asking me? You do not have to take advice that does not feel good for you. Period. Okay. So what about those packages of advice that come to the doorstep? We pick them up and we decide we're going to do it. Great. Bring it in the house. Try it on. Walk around in it a little bit. See if that's going to work. And then go back. Go back for more. Tell them how it went. Be vulnerable. Share. That's probably going to be a good place for you to connect and grow and learn. Here's the thing. In all this, none of this works unless you know you. Unless you know you. Where are you going? And where are you coming from? You know, if you told me that I could have a business that made, $500,000 a year, and the foundation of that business was going to be make as much money as you can no matter what, I'd be like, wow, that is not my path. I mean, that's an okay path to be on. That's not mine. Now, if you said, hey, you're going to make, $50,000 a year, and the seed of that is going to be service and love, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that feels good. There are just some people who are going to come at it in a different way, which is great. You can learn from those people. But you don't have to do what they say you need to do. I had a client this week share that they felt like they valued their best friend's opinion more than they valued their own. That's a tough spot. That's a hard place to be. And I think particularly as women, we can sometimes live so fast that we don't know where we're coming from and we don't know where we're going. So how do we know what the next right step to take is? Now, I'll say this too. There are some people in my life, and there have been some times in my life, that when they gave me advice, I picked it up, I took it in the house, I did it immediately, and I did not stop to think. And that's okay too. Particularly if you're in overwhelm. If you're in overwhelm and there's no cognitive processing going on, having those people in your life, super important. When I went through the end of my marriage, I have the same friend who sent me the Brené Brown book, by the way, asked me to try some nutritional supplement or something that had been helping her. And she wanted to tell me a bunch of information about it. And frankly, I couldn't process it. And because she was that person in that area of my life, she wasn't that person in all areas of my life, but she was that person in this specific, like, what do I need to do with my gut area of my life? I said to her, just send me the package and I'll start taking it. I don't need to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to read any studies. I can't decide right now. You just decide what it is I need and send it to me, please. having a whole smattering of people in your life that you can trust that are on the same path as you, it's handy. And then you can adjust. You can not go to that person who's on a different path from you in that area of your life and ask them for advice. That's not a wise move. If you want to tell them, hey, friend, can you just listen to me bitch and moan for a minute? Because I just got to get this out. Great. But under no circumstances should you go to that person who lives a different path than you in this area of your life and start spilling your guts. And then when they give you unsolicited advice, be irritated about it. That's a bad move on your part. When you're ready to really attack your problem and create a solution, go to the people who are on the same path as you. If you just want to vent it out, call anybody you want to know, but tell them, hey, I'm just here to vent this out. And then if you get some advice, don't be irritated about it. Ooh, I sound so bossy. You know, once we start knowing ourselves and trusting ourselves, which happens in silence, which happens when we get sort of out of our heads and into that heart zone, that intuition, as we start trusting more and more, knowing who to listen to, it won't be a problem. So, actionable steps from this podcast. A, take some time in silence with yourself, not with the things running around in your head, but with your intuition and who you really are, your deepest self that you connect to. And B, pause when you get advice, solicited or not, from anyone and look to see what path they're on and if it matches up with yours well enough in that area of your life that that package is worth picking up and taking a look at it. As always, give yourself some grace. You have everything you need. It's right in there. You just have to sit with yourself long enough for it to come up. And if you ever want to discuss any of this, please click the link down below and schedule a session with me. We can just sit down and chat and see if coaching would be right for you. All right, guys, have a great week and give yourself some grace. I'll see you next time on Healthy AF.